in New Orleans. They call the rising sun, and it's been the ruin.
Do you think there's a masculinity crisis in America right now?
Definitely. Men aren't men anymore. And it's such a shame because I meet these guys and I feel like I'm hanging out with one of my girlfriends and I don't want to date my girlfriend, you know what I mean? I want a man.
Weak, soft people everywhere. And I'm like, I'm back in America. I mean, if you just go to a high school and look at a high schooler now compared to 20 years ago, it's a different thing.
Since the 1950s, testosterone levels have been dropping by up to 1% per year, with sperm count in recent years dropping by more than double that rate, meaning that as men, we are weaker, slower, and less intelligent than we have ever been in the last half century. So what is it about testosterone that is so important? To start with the mental benefits, it leads to enhanced resilience to stress, as testosterone is able to inhibit the secretion of hormones like cortisol. It improves the quality of your sleep, elevates mood and well-being, reducing the symptoms of depression. It provides greater overall energy. Effort starts to feel good, along with improved cognitive function, including memory, spatial skills, and verbal fluency. And if that wasn't all good enough, it further provides an abundance of physical, appearance-based benefits, such as the development of facial hair, leading to a thicker and fuller beard, giving off a more mature masculine appearance. Increased muscle mass, as testosterone triggers protein synthesis in muscle tissue, additionally stimulating the production of growth factors, such as IGF-1. Reduces body fat by increasing your basal metabolic rate, which is the number of calories you burn at rest, along with increasing lipolysis, being the process that breaks down fat stores. Testosterone is able to maximize your height potential, being a hormone that contributes to growth spurts during puberty. Better looking skin caused by improved collagen synthesis, leading to a firmer, more youthful appearance. Enhanced bone density, reducing the risk of osteoporosis and fractures, whilst simultaneously contributing to a more powerful overall physique. And last but not least, a better jawline, caused by testosterone's ability to grow and develop your facial bones, usually being one of the last things that testosterone is used to develop, as it's not seen as being essential for your survival, thus showing how important it is to produce an abundance of testosterone in order to gain these benefits. When researching into testosterone, there was a seemingly endless list of advantages it provides for males especially, making all the things mentioned a shortened list into its full potential. But I wanted the focus of this video to be on one of the single most damaging things that has contributed in plummeting levels to such a low point. It has been described by many doctors to have a significant feminizing effect on men, narrowing the distinction between males and females. If you are offended by the word feminizing, then this video probably isn't for you. Respectfully. As you may have figured out from the title, the issue is with plastics, and it is an issue that is a lot worse than we thought. You may have heard of a chemical compound which is used in many plastics, called BPAs, which completely mess up your testosterone and estrogen balance in your body, decreasing testosterone production whilst increasing estrogen production. And before you think you can just buy products that are sold as being BPA free, think again. BPAs just get replaced by BPS, BPF, or some other variation. Phthalates are another very prominent chemical compound in plastics that are able to have the same effects. This is all because these are xenoestrogens, which when ingested or exposed to the skin, gets mistaken by your body for being hormones, believing that it has produced more estrogen than it actually has, causing you to produce less testosterone as a result. As it is a hormone that inhibits the production of testosterone, estrogen is capable of further creating a multiplier effect, encouraging your body to gain fat, increasing the amount of androgens such as testosterone that are converted into estrogen, evidently making you worse off. Companies are well aware that selling a product as BPA free does not solve the issue, but instead use it as a way of lulling the consumer into a false sense of security, along with giving them the ability to increase profit margins, utilizing it as a USP. Consequently, whilst chemicals such as phthalates are able to lower your overall T, they also lower the gene expression of actual testosterone receptors, making them less effective. In other words, they are able to turn the volume down on the testosterone that you are left with, making it less effective. You may have heard that olive oil is good for you, but also heard some conflicting opinions about people saying that it is bad for you at the same time. Dr. Anthony J., who is the author of the book Estrogeneration, found that the reason for this was that the studies finding that it is good for you were tested with olive oil in a glass bottle, with the studies evidencing it as being bad used olive oil from a plastic bottle. Tinned food is also problematic, as it has a plastic inner lining which leaches onto the contents inside, with tinned tomatoes being notably worse, caused by their acidity having the potential to degrade the inner plastic quicker. And if you thought you could get away from this problem using cardboard cartons, guess what? They are also lined with plastic. To make things worse, and by the way, I'm about to go over some actionable steps you can take to mitigate these impacts so it's not too depressing. But products containing ethanol, such as some hand sanitizers, colognes, moisturizers, face cleansers and toners, are able to increase the permeability of your skin to absorb plastics, with a recent study showing that some hand sanitizers are able to 100 times the amount of plastic that penetrates your skin and enters your body. Especially avoid touching receipts if you have an ethanol product on your skin, as they contain a hyper concentration of BPAs. In fact, you should avoid touching them completely, as they are easily avoided. Young children are increasingly vulnerable to plastics, with increased phthalate concentrations during pregnancy being associated with less masculine, gender-related play behaviors in males. Births via assisted reproductive technology has also tripled in the US, as sperm counts are rapidly decreasing, with a study indicating that boys who were conceived this way would actually have a lower sperm count as a consequence. So even before you're born, you have been affected. Low sperm counts can decrease life expectancy, increase risk of genetic abnormalities in offspring, as quality of sperm can also be compromised when sperm count is low, and further correlates with erectile dysfunction or reduced libido. Children's susceptibility to endocrine disruptors is also reflected in the highest childhood obesity rates to date. It is not okay for kids to be chewing on anything plastic, like toys or pens. A way to fight the effects of low testosterone would obviously be to directly try and increase your testosterone levels through means such as diet, exercise, and sleep. Although you've probably heard about all of those things, so I won't cover them in this video. Instead, I'll give you the solutions to mitigating your exposure to estrogenic plastics and reversing the effects that they have. The first thing is saunas, or if you don't have access to a sauna, doing an activity that makes you sweat can also recreate similar benefits. 2 groups of people were studied, both of which had patches put on their skin. One group went into the sauna and one group didn't do anything. The group that went into the sauna had their skin patches analysed, only to find that they were riddled with BPAs, phthalates, and other microplastic chemicals, whilst the group that didn't go into the sauna had nothing like this, demonstrating how sweating is able to remove these chemicals from our bodies, helping counter our exposure to these plastics. It is important to bring a towel with you to constantly wipe off the sweat, as to avoid it getting reabsorbed back into the skin, or shower soon afterwards. The recommended protocol would be to stay in for 10 minutes at 180 degrees Fahrenheit, preferably 3 times a week. You also want to replace all your polyester bedding and clothing with 100% wool or cotton fabrics made of completely natural materials. Workout clothing is often made of polyester, which is increasingly detrimental as you heat up when you move your body, destabilizing the plastic in the material, allowing it to more easily soak into your skin. Polyester underwear has also been shown to decrease sperm count, so should further be avoided. Switch out your plastic containers, bottles, and utensils for wood, glass, or stainless steel alternatives. 100% pure silicone can also be used as a replacement for some plastic items, as they are non-estrogenic and can be used as bagged food containers, amongst other replacements. Just make sure it's quality silicone. If you do have plastic containers that you have to use, keep them in a cool area such as the fridge or freezer to stabilize the plastic. Conversely, never eat hot food from plastic or have a hot drink in a plastic mug. You shouldn't be using plastic to eat food in the first place, but this is something you want to make an extra effort in avoiding. Just throw the food away instead, because it isn't worth it. Furthermore, you want to use cast iron pans instead of non-stick pans alongside this. Next, you need to stay under 20% body fat, as fat cells produce and store estrogen. fat cells are also a lot harder to get rid of once you make them, so try and avoid putting on too much fat altogether, even if you're bulking. Take an omega-3 supplement, eat foods like broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cauliflower and kale, all of which help balance your estrogen levels. Get a charcoal water filter to clear out the estrogen and microplastics that enter the household water supply and are unable to be filtered out using conventional water treatment methods. Make sure these charcoal filters use activated carbon, as otherwise won't be effective. Reverse osmosis filters have also proven to be effective, although can be a lot more expensive. If you are exposed to large amounts of BPAs, such as through touching receipts, washing your hands with soap can help in preventing it from being absorbed into your skin. Just make sure the soap doesn't contain ethanol and is plastic free. Just because many soaps come in plastic bottles, soap bars would be a better option. You should try and replace as many of your toiletries as possible with alternatives made of natural ingredients, such as your body wash, toothpaste, and shampoo, as these all end up being rubbed into your skin, so it's worth getting right. To deal with sperm counts steadily decreasing, with no signs of improving, Dr. Shanna Swan recommends to bank a semen sample to be on the safer side, as it is relatively inexpensive and can save on infertility issues later in life. But the most important change we can all make for the long-term benefit is to use our power as a consumer to shift the market towards plastic-free products, usually having to look to eco-friendly companies as they are the leaders in this, meaning we can save the environment and our testosterone at the same time.
Now to male infertility, it is an affliction that many struggle with in silence, and we could be headed toward a crisis. Researchers have found that male sperm count has plummeted by 50% since the 1970s.
Much of the information gathered for this video were from Dr. Anthony J., who wrote the book Estrogeneration, who goes into further detail about this topic, so I would recommend reading it if you found this video interesting, and we'll leave it linked down below, as well as sourcing information from reproductive epidemiologist Dr. Shanna Swan.